How many of you want to earn high marks for your speech? Oh, I see hands shooting up. All right, second question. How many of you feel nervous giving a speech? Oh, more hands are popping up. How many of you notice the technique I'm using to introduce this presentation? Oh, some more hands. Very good. So now you've discovered that asking questions is one effective way to start a speech. I could also start a speech using a quote. Jerry Seinfeld once joked, "According to most studies, people's number one fear is public speaking. Number two is death." Does that sound right? This means to the average person, if you go to a funeral, you're better off in the casket than in doing the eulogy. I could also make a prediction, or a startling statement, or use a statistic. For example, employers rate oral and written communication skills as essential, with those skills scoring 4.3 on a 5-point scale. That's according to the National Association of Colleges and Employers. The organization also said almost 7 of 10 employers want applicants to cite oral communication skills on their resumes. So there's some ways you can start a speech if you're going to do a speech about how to give a speech. Please do not start your speech for your senior seminar by saying something like, "Today I'll discuss elemental sulfates," or "My topic is microbiomes and forensics." Think of a way to engage your audience. Remember, the speech is for the audience, not for you. So, what are the best ways to organize your senior seminar speech? Let's look at the 4 basic elements of a speech. Hey, did you see what I just did? I outlined what the rest of this presentation will cover. So I mentioned 4 different things. We've already covered one of them. We're going to cover 3 more. We call these things signposts, and your speech should include those markers so the audience knows what's coming. So early on in the speech, lay out what's going to talk about. All right, so we already reviewed the introduction, so we can move on to the central idea. So ask yourself, what do you want the audience to understand at the end of the speech? So my central idea is for you to apply the 4 steps to your speech. So as you think about your topic, what 4 things, 3 things, 2 things do you want your audience to go away with once you're finished? To help make this a realistic experience and do something kind of sciencey, I'm going to focus on how I might prepare a speech about COVID-19. And I'm going to look at Madonna University, and employees and a bunch of groups are looking at how to open the university this fall so students can come back to campus. So if I was going to do some kind of possible speech on that topic, I might look at some of the ways to organize that speech. So if I wanted to use a spatial organizational structure, I might look at how the university will create safe spaces in the classroom, in the residence halls, and on the athletic fields and courts. So I look at things in a spatial way. A time arrangement pattern would resemble a chronology. By a certain date, the university would have to have removed all desks and only leaving them 6 feet apart. By July 1st, all dorm rooms would have been converted to singles. By the middle of July, and you go down the line in a chronology. So some topics lend themselves to being in a timeline or a chronology. We could organize a speech as a problem-solution presentation. The problem: how do we keep students, faculty, and staff safe amid COVID-19? The solution: we do social distancing, testing, tracking, and isolating, and remote learning. So here my speech will have 3 basic concepts: social distancing, testing, tracking, and isolating as one sort of concept, and then remote learning as the third. So I just lay out 3 things in my speech for that. As you put your speech together, cite your sources. The World Health Organization states, according to the CDC, the Michigan Independent Colleges and Universities Association said. So think about using credible sources and citing those sources in your speech. And to conclude the speech, say something for the end. Don't end with some kind of summarization of what you just said. The audience heard you, and if you did a good job, they paid attention. So save something for the end. So we might look at what Madonna University might look like once the COVID-19 sort of experience ends and we're back on campus. Right? Some other tips. You need to show some emotion. You picked this topic. Share your enthusiasm by being animated when you talk. And what I mean by being animated is do some gestures. Have some facial expressions. Get excited when you talk about something. Pause once in a while. You're performing a speech. Don't just read it. Use note cards when you do it, but maintain eye contact. Or in this case, your speech will be recorded. Maintain contact with the camera. Change your pitch once in a while. Sometimes you might want to whisper. Sometimes you want to get very excited. Use some vocal variety to get that point across. Avoid those disfluencies, the ums, the ers, you knows, the likes. So practice your speech several times before you actually deliver and record it. So now, heading back to the end, so would you prefer being in the casket or delivering the eulogy at that funeral? I hope you pick the latter.